Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SAT Math Question of the Day with Professor Brothers Chaiken at the University of Albany and Joel, that's brother. We're here to hopefully show you how to approach actually taking SAT math questions, but also approaching studying for the math SAT. Today we are in the last few weeks, months, we're working with the Khan Academy questions. The SAT group, the College Board, partnered with Khan to give free help, free practice to everyone. The SAT is broken up into about 40 topics, and Khan has 40 sections in each topic, 20 questions per topic. And we're in the 15th, we're in the 16th through 20th questions, the hardest versions of isolating quantities. So without any further ado, why don't you try the question, pause it, come back, and we will give it a shot. For the equation above, which of the following correctly expresses B in terms of C and A? In school, you probably would be required to show all work. Here, you don't have to show all work. You just have to choose an answer. So that lends itself to trying to do this question very quickly by using some clues and patterns. Right, Seth?
Right.
So
should I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, first, you want to find B, and the only appearance of B is in B squared. So first, the answer is B equals the square root of something. Okay, that's step one. Step two, we have our A here and some positive stuff around the A, and it's added to other stuff involving the B, and equals a positive constant times C. So there's the A here and the C here. In order to get the B squared with junk on the other side, you have to do some subtracting. So the answer has to involve a difference between an A and a C, not a sum of A and C. So this is observation 2. The only answer that fits observation 1 and observation 2 is this one. It's a square root and a minus sign, combining by addition B of multiples of B and C. Bingo.
Right. Bingo, right. Yeah, so Seth, you wrote A minus C, but it's actually C minus A. Right?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's C. A minus C is going to be involved in a bunch of junk. There might be a minus in front of it.
Right.
Which is what we have.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I distinguish. I took a glance at the forms of the distractors, and I saw that all of them have the form some junk a 5C plus or minus a 7A.
Right.
And so all I did was figure out that it must be the one with the minus.
Right. Yeah. So positive signs are very useful. Often negative signs cause a problem when you're doing algebra because it's easy to make negative sign mistakes. But in this case, we use the difference between the answers, and one of the answers had a positive sign, one of the answers had a positive sign, one of the answers had a negative sign. So it's clear that the one with the negative sign.
A rule of algebra is that the negative of C subtracting A is equal to A minus C.
Right. Okay. So there's really.
So you want to do it the step-by-step way?
Okay. I guess so. Yeah. Why not? Because this is the way that you'd have to do in school. But also, it's when you're practicing, you may want to do some of these when you're practicing for the SAT, you may want to. Well, no. You have to know how to do it the regular way. But once you're
Yeah.
familiar on how to do the
Wait a
regular
minute. There's
way,
one very good reason for knowing how to do it step by step. In the real world, when you have problems, you are not given four choices
that's true.
that were carefully chosen by testers, so that one of them was chosen to be the right answer.
That's
You have no idea what the form of the answer is.
right. So actually, you really have to do the
So
details.
doing it step by step is the only way to actually come up with the equivalent expression, starting with nothing.
Right. Okay. So what you want to do here is you have to start isolating the b squared. So you see that it's being divided by a 5. So we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 5 because that cancels the 5 out here. So we have 7a plus 2b squared is equal to 5c. Now again, it's like packing a package, like a box you get in the mail. We want to get the b squared by itself. So the 7a is being added to this b squared term. So we have to knock this. We have to get rid of the 7a. We have to separate the 7a term from the b squared term. So we subtract 7a. That cancels that out. So you have 2b squared is 5c minus 7a. Now the b squared term now is being multiplied by 2. We got to knock that 2 out. So we have to remove the 2 from the b squared. So we do the inverse operation. We divide because multiplication division is the inverse of multiplication. So now we have b squared is 5c minus 7a over 2. We're trying to be neat, do one step at a time. Now the b is being squared, so we want to get the b by itself. So we take the square root of both sides. So b is equal to this. Now, technically, that is the answer. So if you have a test question, this would actually be what you would hand in. But that choice is not given. They're only looking for the positive root, the principal square root. So then you can cross that out in this problem. But in most problems, like in school, I don't think you can cross that out. And I think, yeah, that actually agrees. Wow, look at that. So... what do you think?
Yeah. It's okay. Well, the expression that you wrote expresses that the equation determines B with ambiguity.
Yeah.
The expression expresses that either the form with a plus sign will satisfy the equation, and the form with a minus sign will also satisfy the equation.
Right.
And that's because, of course, when you square a quantity in a very general form of algebra. You square a quantity and square the negative of the quantity, you get the same results.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Wayne, what do you? Thankfully, they did not give this question. They gave this, but then none of the above. Now
yes,
it's really nasty because then the question is, then you may want to say none of the above. Well, we're not even going to go there, but just be careful. Just don't forget the negative sign because technically it's both, and they only picked on one. So, but we again, this is not the SAT people. These are the Khan Academy people. They're probably a little bit more mellow. They're not giving the questions as tightly as the SAT would. Okay, so I guess we can just look and see how they did it. It's probably very similar to how I did it, and probably they did not suggest taking the shortcuts that Seth did, which is too bad, because if Seth and I were writing this Khan Academy thing, we would show the normal way, but then we'd also say, hey, consider taking shortcuts, because that's the practical way that many people are going to be doing the problems. Wait, no, it's this one.
The shortcuts come from... imagining what you would do step by step, and then realizing what details in each step you don't have to finish.
Right. Yes. That's why, in order to do the shortcut, you have to know how to do it the regular way. So
Yeah, it's hard to imagine something and observe the features of it without knowing how to do it completely.
Right. So that comes down to the approach of how to study for the SAT. First, you have to practice studying, doing these problems the longer way, the more traditional way, and then you can start seeing patterns and doing problems a little faster. Okay.
Yeah. Now, this technique of taking shortcuts to select a proposed answer is helpful when you say do a calculation the long way and you want to check it.
Yeah. Right.
And this is the kind of thing when you do when you want to check that the calculation you did check that it makes sense.
Right.
Now, checking that your answer makes sense. What could you say about that? That's when people do stuff in real life as opposed to school. A big, very just doing it for the answer to be helpful. If the answer must make sense.
Of course, right? Yeah, and that's good practice when you have word problems.
And indeed, in college courses, when you do calculations in any kind of college course where there are calculations, the professor will demand that you ask and explain, perhaps, and verify that the answer you got makes sense.
Right. That's very, very important. And that's a good practice in high school, particularly in word problems, to see if the answer makes sense. But also it's good to proofread everything in algebra, particularly if negative signs are involved in any problem. It's really important to proofread. And negative signs will be involved in almost every problem.
Okay, yeah, like suppose you have a word problem. Suppose you have a word problem involving ages of kids.
Yeah.
And you do the algebra, and you get Sally's age is -3.
Yeah, obviously there's a mistake. Right. You don't want to say that. Right. You want to stop. Hopefully there's enough time on the test to go back and figure out what happened. Okay, without any further ado, let's get some fireworks. Okay. Yes, we did it right. Okay. So what did they do? So they did
it right.
Yeah, they're doing it the way that I did it. Yeah. Notice they're not really explaining everything. They're not saying that it's like unpacking a package. You have to multiply. You have to do the multiplicative inverse, which is dividing, or you have to subtract, which is the additive inverse and the inverse of addition. So they're not explaining that. They're just assuming that this makes sense to the reader. So, okay.
Well, I think no. Can you complete can you do the SAT questions in the allotted time if you wrote out all the steps like they do?
In all
the questions?
That's a great question.
You have about a minute and a quarter per question.
You'd have to write very quickly. I mean, I should have timed myself. I should have. I should do. I always forget.
It's hard to time yourself because you're also talking.
No. I could have done it real fast and then explained it later. But people, there is a lot. I mean, you're obviously not going to write it this neatly on your test. But hopefully you will you'll take some of our advice about trying to look for shortcuts. And then also the judgment comes in. When do you take the shortcut? When do you not take the shortcut? And that just comes with practice and judgment and experience, which is another thing, is practice. Khan gives you 800 questions, 40 topics. Oh, I don't have my writing on. 40 topics, 20 questions a topic. That's 800 questions. Sounds like a lot, but the first 10 should be very, very, very easy. You should be able to do those very quickly. Okay, and you can't get to the harder questions until you get through the easier questions. Okay, so I guess that's it for today, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Goodbye.
enjoy your tea.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. And tomorrow is Throwback Thursday. So maybe we missed last week. So, but maybe hopefully we'll meet tomorrow and we'll do a question from about 20 years ago. Okay, everyone, have a great day.